The water here is over 2 miles deep, but that ship is drilling into the bottom, obtaining samples of muds and rocks for scientific analysis.
In 1961, scientists drilled a hole into the ocean floor off California's coast. They hoped to break through the Earth's crust and reach the mantle beneath, but they failed.
Now, other scientists are trying to make history again. A 2-month expedition in the Indian Ocean has drilled farther than ever before and returns to land today with samples that could help unlock some of the Earth's deepest secrets. Jeffrey Kluger, Time Magazine's editor-at-large, has been following the team's efforts and joins us now with more. Good morning.
Good morning.
You, of all people, know that sometimes science scares me.
Yeah, it scares me too.
But it doesn't seem like a good idea to drill into the core of the Earth. What comes out? What are they trying to do?
Well, here's the thing. We all think if you drill that deep, you're going to pop the Earth and we're suddenly going to deflate. But the fact is, where they're going is the mantle, which is 85% of the Earth. So the largest part of the Earth we know nothing about. If you get into a deep enough part of the ocean where the crust is thin enough, you can actually sort of get a head start and drill down into an area of the Earth where you get pristine samples that haven't seen light since the earliest days of the solar system.
Wow. So as we mentioned, they first started this back in '61. They got down pretty far, but they stopped. Why? What happened?
Well, a couple of things happened. First of all, they had some technical breakdowns, but also 1961 was the point that America began looking up at the moon, not down at the core of the Earth or at the mantle of the Earth. So funding dried up. And
we lost interest.
We lost interest. It was either guys in silver pressure suits or roughnecks on drill boats, and there was no competition.
But we have had other samples of mantle before, of the crust before. What's different?
Well, we haven't actually gotten down to the mantle. We've gotten close. And what they've gotten to on this first expedition, this first round this time, was about 2,300 feet down, which isn't bad, because if you can get 1.6 miles down, you're in the mantle. So they've gotten closer than they've ever gotten before. And already they've brought up the largest piece of crustal material. So they're learning more about the crust as well.
What are we hoping to find in this material?
Here's a couple of fascinating things. First of all, seismic scientists know that when you get below a certain level, it's called the MOHO discontinuity, a term I love. It sounds like gibberish.
It's
a great term. Exactly. But it's where seismic waves speed up. And if you learn more about those seismic waves, you can learn more about earthquakes. You can also maybe find extreme life forms that deep down.
Really? So what are the life forms they think?
Well, you have life forms on Earth called extremophiles. They survive in extreme environments, down at hot vents, locked in desert rocks. Here, it's possible you will find forms of life that are that deep in the Earth that live on methane. And living on methane is sort of a template for extraterrestrial creatures.
Wow. All right. So this was only phase 1 we've seen. There's phase 2 and 3 still?
Phase 2 and 3. They hope to have this done sometime within the next 5 years. They've gotten down to, say, half a mile down. They need to get down to about a mile and then 1.6 miles, and they feel that that could happen by 2020. And when they do, it will be the first ever historic sample of mantle.
Is there any exciting prediction for what they might find?
Well, again, the hope is, first of all, that you'll get a sample of the solar system in its earliest phase, because this is material that hasn't been touched since the solar system was formed. And also, this idea of life forms, this is a way that will give us a sense of when we go out to the moon, Titan around Saturn, when we go out to the moon, Europa. These are the kinds of organisms we could be looking for.
I cannot even imagine the drill bit one has to
The
have.
drill bit, yes. And some of those drill bits are broken because you get down to brittle material that actually clogs it. And, you know, you break a tool, you and I go to Ace Hardware and buy a new one. When your tool is half a mile below the ocean, it's a lot harder to pull it out and fix it.
So interesting. Jeffrey Kluger, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.